everyone. Welcome to Yoga with Susan. Today's class we're calling Yoga for Tight Hips. Sometimes people get tightness in their hip flexor muscles. They might be tight because you sit a lot or maybe run a lot or for whatever reason. We're going to do some stretches for our hip flexors. We're going to start by laying down on our mat today. So let's lay down and we're going to put the soles of our feet together. So we're doing a reclining butterfly here. If your knees do not reach the floor, like mine don't reach the floor, you can always put a block or a pillow under your knees for a little support, or you don't have to if you don't want to. We're going to put our hands on our belly. We're going to do a few nice long breaths here. So let's take a nice long inhale through our nose. Nice long exhale through our nose. And we'll do a few of those on your own. Maybe noticing your shoulders can start to release down into the mat. We'll do a few more cycles of breath. Okay, we're going to move on now to Happy Baby. I usually do Happy Baby at the end, but it is a nice stretch for your hips, so we're going to do it earlier today. And for Happy Baby, you can either hold the back of your thighs or your calves, or if you want, you can hold the edges of your feet here in Happy Baby. You can have a nice still Happy Baby, or if you want, you can kind of rock your Happy Baby, rocking side to side here in Happy Baby. Or maybe bringing one foot in and the other foot out, and then the other side, one in, one out. And again, if it doesn't work to hold the outside edges of your feet, you can hold your calves and do the same thing. Bring one in, one out. It's kind of playing around with your Happy Baby a little bit. And then we're going to roll to one side. And we're going to come up into a kneeling pose. This one is called Hero. So we'll start with kneeling and then come and sit down on your heels. Now, if this doesn't work for you, sitting down on your heels, you can always sit on a block or a pillow or something here in Hero pose. We won't be staying here long because this sometimes bothers people's knees in this pose. So let's move on now to tabletop. We're only going to be in tabletop just for a little bit because we're just using this to get into downward dog. We're going to tuck our toes, lift our hips up into the air, and we have downward dog. Let's bend our knees and get our hips a little higher. Feeling your hands pushing into the earth here in downward facing dog. And then whenever you want, you can straighten your knees or keep your knees bent. Up to you. And then we're going to walk our feet up to our hands and roll up to standing. All right. So here we are in Tadasana, standing nice and tall, feeling our feet into the earth. Let's look down at our feet. Notice if your feet are facing straight, or maybe your feet are turned out a little bit. If they're turned out, that might indicate that your hips are tight. So anyway, here we are in Tadasana. And we're going to move into Yogi Squat. For Yogi Squat, our feet are apart and our toes are turned out for Yogi Squat. We're going to put our hands at our heart, and then we're just going to squat down, putting your elbows inside your knees. Now, if this doesn't work for you, again, you can always sit on something like a block or a pillow. We're just going to stay here for a little bit. Not long. So you can skip it. If this one is like, oh man, that really hurts my knees, then don't do it. All right. And then we're going to stand back up, coming into our Tadasana again. And we're going to do dancer pose. Let's turn our hand out. We're going to bend our knee and hold on to the inside of your ankle or hold on to your foot. And if you want, you can lift your foot up back behind you and maybe bring this other arm out for like a counterbalance here in dancer pose. Very nice. Coming back to our mountain. We'll do the other side. We're going to turn our hand out, bending our knee, reaching back for our inside of our ankle or foot. And again, if you want to lift your foot up, you can. You don't have to, but if you want to, it's also a balancing pose here today in dancer pose. All right, very good. Coming back to our mountain. We're going to come to the top of our mat. We're going to inhale our arms up and exhale, folding forward. Let's just kind of hang forward a little bit today. We can hold on to our elbows, have a little bend in our knees, letting your head hang down. Just kind of hang here for not long, just for a little bit. And then we'll put our hands down on the mat. We're keeping our, let's keep our right foot where it is, and we're going to bring our left toes way back behind us. And then we're going to drop our left knee to the ground. We're going to rise up into our low lunge. All right, very good. Low lunge is a great one for hip flexors. So we'll just stay here for a little bit in our low lunge. Maybe bringing our arms up, maybe putting our hands together above our head. Bit of a back bend, maybe looking like where your wall and ceiling go together here in our low lunge. And then we're going to frame our foot with our hands. We're going to untuck our back toe, lifting our knee up off of the ground. We're going to rise up to crescent. Now, if you want, you can move your foot over a little bit because you want to have a space between your 2 feet like you're on railroad tracks, because that gives you a little more balance here in crescent pose. So here we are in crescent. In crescent, we're going to make some cactus arms and straight. And again, the cactus arms and straight. Ooh, sorry, one more time, cactus and straight. And then we're going to frame our foot. We're going to put our knee down, coming back into the low lunge. We're going to move into lizard pose. So for lizard pose, we're going to walk that right foot all the way over to the edge of the mat. And then both of our hands are inside of our right foot for lizard. Now, if you want, your knee can be back a little further here for the lizard. So it's like not right underneath your hip. It's back a little ways. That'll be your left knee. And if you're not feeling a very much stretch here, you can always come down to your forearms here. Like your forearm would go to the mat, but for me, this is plenty. So I'm not going to show that because I can't really do that. So anyway, either your forearm at the mat or it doesn't have to be. And then we're going to frame our foot again. So walking your foot over again. So you're framing your foot, untucking that back foot. And then we're just going to step our feet back together and rise back up to standing. All right, we're going to do the other side. Maybe I'll do it from this direction this time. Where they changed the camera a little bit to show more of the mat, but it's cutting my head off. But anyway, I'm going to do this one starting here. So we're doing the other side. We're inhaling up. We're exhaling our hands down. We're going to now frame our left foot, stepping back with our right. I'm just looking to see if you can even see this. All right, we're going to drop our right foot, our right knee down to the mat. So our right knee is not directly under our hip, it's back a ways. And we're going to rise up into our low lunge. So you should feel a nice stretch here on the front of your hip, that'll be on your right leg. And we can bring our arms up, palms can come together, looking up a little bit like your wall, where your wall and ceiling come together. And then we're going to frame that left foot, untucking your right toes. Maybe moving your left foot over a ways so you can rise up to crescent pose. We're going to make some cactus arms and then straight. We do this so we don't notice our legs. Cactus and straight. We're thinking about our arms instead. Cactus and straight. Oh, that's the idea anyway. All right, we're going to frame our foot again. We're going to put that right knee back down to the mat. The top of your right foot is flat on the mat. And then we're in low lunge. We're going to walk that left foot over. So we have both hands inside of our left foot. For the lizard pose on this side. And again, if it's not enough stretch, you can always come to your forearms, but for me, this is plenty. So we're doing our lizard. And then we'll walk our foot back over, framing our foot again, untucking that back knee. Step into downward dog. And then I'm going to change my camera. Sorry, stay in downward dog, you guys. Just going to change this back to how it was. And I'll do downward dog over here. All right, so here we are. Downward facing dog. We're going to do pigeon. All right, let's lift our left leg up behind us. We're going to, before we move into pigeon, let's do this. So we're in three-legged dog. We're going to bend our knee and open our hip. So our hips are kind of stacked here in our three-legged dog. Maybe rotating around if that feels okay for you. And then we'll square off our hips again, three-legged dog. And bring our left knee to our left wrist. All right, pigeon. And then we have our right leg nice and straight, and we're on the top of our right foot. If you can get your left foot behind your right hand, that's fine, but it does not need to be there. So don't worry about that. And the idea is to have your hips square and not tilting over to one side. So if you feel like you're tilting, you might want to put, again, like a block or a pillow under your hip. But otherwise, here we are in pigeon. We're going to come forward now, maybe stacking your forearms and resting your forehead on your forearms. Or again, you could always use a block if you like that. For pigeon. We're going to stay here for a little bit. And taking some breaths here in pigeon pose. And rise back up. We're going to come to the toes of our right foot and then lift up, coming back into downward facing dog. All right, very good. Let's lift our right leg up now. Three-legged dog, stacking your hips. And then maybe rotating your leg around a little bit. And then coming back to the three-legged dog. And now we're going to bring our right knee so it's behind our right wrist. If you can get your left foot behind, your right foot behind your left wrist, that's fine, but it does not need to be there. We're going to straighten our left leg. The top of our left foot is on the mat. Oh, pigeon. And if this does not work for you, pigeon, it's like the figure four, which we've done a lot. So this is like the figure four stretch if this pigeon just doesn't work for you. And again, we're going to come down. We're going to stack our forearms. We're going to rest our forehead on our forearms. And if you start to go over to the side, you can always put a block or something under your hip because you want to keep your hips straight. All right. Let's just stay here for a little bit. And then we'll rise back up. We're going to tuck that toe. We're going to come back into downward dog. just for not long at all. And then we're coming down to our knees, coming back to our kneeling and back to firm. Oh, hero pose, this is called. I've also heard this called firm pose. So it can either be hero or firm, up to you. Doesn't matter. All right, very good. Let's come to seated now. We're coming just to a seat and we're going to come back into our butterfly. This time it's sitting up butterfly. Sitting up nice and tall, maybe holding your feet here and coming forward a little bit, stretching forward. And we'll stay here just for a little bit today here in our butterfly. And then we'll sit back up. All right, let's just come to a cross-legged. If you're able to do the, where you stack one foot on your knee, and then this knee will be by that foot, feel free, but otherwise we'll just be at a cross-legged here. We're gonna bring our arms up, taking a breath in. We're going to push down through the middle on the breath out. Let's do this a couple more times, taking a breath in, pushing down the middle on the breath out. And once more like that, taking a nice big breath in and pushing down the middle. If you have your knees crossed or your legs crossed, or if you're doing a stacking thing, let's come to the other side. So you're switching the crossing of your legs or the stacking if you have that. I will not be demonstrating that one. All right, we're gonna sit up nice and tall again. This time one more breathing thing. We're holding a ball. We're gonna take a breath in and the ball gets really big. A breath out and our hands come together. Let's do that again. Inhaling really big. Exhaling together. And once more like that, taking a nice big breath in through your nose. And a big breath out. Thank you so much for joining me here today on Yoga with Susan. I hope you come again sometime. Bye now. Namaste. Don't forget, you can click subscribe or click the like button. Thank you, everybody. Bye now.